This program is brought to you by thepodcastfactory.com.
How would you like to get more customers, make more profits, and have bigger breakthroughs? Get Doberman Dan's Profit Boosting Breakthroughs. Normally, this would cost you $98 per month, but right now, for listening to this show, he's giving you a free copy of his Doberman Dan letter. All you have to do is go to DobermanDan.com and sign up to get your free copy now.
Prepare yourself for the uncensored, nothing held back, no BS reality of how business and life really work. Doberman Dan is off the chain.
What's up, K9 crew? Welcome back to another edition of the Off the Chain show. Here is the man, Mr. Doberman Dan.
How's it going, Jonathan?
Awesome. I hear your radio voice come out.
Yes. Well, wait a minute. Jonathan, it is a pleasure to be here today. How's that?
Oh. I like the other one. I like the other one better. So what's up, Dan? What do you have on the agenda for us today?
Well, this is the coolest gig in the world. I just get to talk to all kinds of interesting people. And as I've stated previously, the purpose for this show is I'm a selfish bastard. And I just want to extract information and tips and knowledge from people who normally would never want to talk to me. So I get to invite cool people on the show and get to pick their brain and use their stuff to build my business and make my life better. And in the process, I guess there are like some people who listen and it makes their lives better too. Does that make sense?
That sounds like a pretty cool gig.
It ain't a bad gig at all. And today we're talking with Katie Vogel from Agora Financial. What's up, Katie? How are you?
Pretty good.
Good. So we've spoken briefly before, but I don't know your whole story. So I want to hear, tell me what you're doing now with Agora Financial. And then after that, I want to hear how you got into it. Because I don't know anybody who just says, well, I've just been preparing myself to work in direct response marketing my entire life. They usually find it through some sort of weird way. So how did you stumble into this stuff?
Yeah, I don't know of anybody that's like, oh, you know what? I'm going to go be a media buyer. Well, although now I feel like if you were smart and you were in college, you would be thinking that way. But so I am the marketing director for Agora Financial. And I don't know how many of the listeners know about Agora Financial, but we are a financial publishing company and we are owned by Agora Publishing Greater. And Agora Financial is unique because we also not only live in that financial vertical with newsletters, but we also live in the health franchise. We have a health franchise, a survival and lifestyle franchise as well. And then we're actually like dipping our toe in some like educational stuff right now. So yeah, that's kind of my daytime gig. And no, I did not grow up as a small child wanting to run display ads on Yahoo, but I stumbled my way into it. I actually have been at Agora Financial since I graduated college. I started as an intern, which is kind of a testament to the organization and its like true organic growth model. And yeah, I was a marketing coordinator for like 9 months. And that was way back when like the only way we could get our data was like running these horrible spreadsheets and updating Excel. And I was like, screw this, I can't handle this. So after 9 months, I was looking elsewhere in the company and kind of shifted into a more creative role, which is more my style.
Now, how did you find the intern thing?
Oh, well, I went, so I'm not from Baltimore, which Agora's located in Baltimore. I'm not from Baltimore. I'm from Maryland, though. I'm from Western Maryland. And I went to college, though, in Baltimore. And there was like a recruiter on campus that was looking to interview new hires. And I obviously wasn't ready to graduate yet. And they were like, well, like you seem really impressive and like interested. So why don't you come intern for us? And yeah, I was an intern for a few months. And then honestly, I interned all the way up till I graduated on a Saturday. And then HR called me in on Monday and like made me a full-time employee.
What doesn't surprise me there. So Agora Financial is really good at attracting top talent. So I guess they wanted to lock you down.
Yeah. That or like they were just desperate at the time. I think I started maybe like 2 months before VSLs took off, like video sales letters. And I just remember at the time, my boss being on vacation. No, his wife had their second child. And then one of our other marketing directors was on vacation the week we launched our first VSL. And I was the only person on the marketing team there. And I remember Joe Schriefer, who I think's been on the show before, correct?
Yeah, he has.
Yeah.
Or no, has he, Jonathan?
I think he has. Sorry.
Okay. I was going to say, if not, we got to correct that. I get confused, Katie, because I do this show, but I also do for the nights in my Marketing Camelot, my paid membership, I do a webinar. And sometimes I get confused who's been a guest on the webinar, who's been a guest on the podcast.
Well, if you haven't, you should have him because he's brilliant and he's a publisher of Agora. But yeah, I remember we had just launched a VSL. He called me or emailed me or something and was like, you got to get more traffic to this thing. You got to the only traffic we had at the time was email buys. And I was just like, I am not qualified at all to do this.
Talk about getting thrown into the deep end of the pool.
Oh, I was like, I barely even know what break even means. I just Googled ROI 2 hours ago.
That's great. What a great way to learn it.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I went from that to now, oh my God, we're 15 people deep on the marketing team. We're in every channel you can imagine. So it's been a pretty wild ride, but I love Agora. It is we always say when we hire new people, we're like, oh, you're going to totally drink the Kool-Aid. You are going to love it. And people do. And then we also say when people leave, we're like, you'll be a boomerang. You'll come back.
Let me put this into perspective. You're the marketing director for Agora Financial. So I might not have the numbers exactly right, but you correct me. This is the kind of growth you're experiencing right now. 2015 finished out at around 50 million, more or less, right?
No. 2015. No, yeah. 2015 was right at 50, right around 50 million. Yep.
So 2016, was it 120 million?
No. Okay. So yeah, going back. So this is crazy. So I remember 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago, Addison Wiggin, who's our executive publisher, kind of the founder of our franchise, was like, we're going to make 50 million or we're going to fire ourselves. That was the goal for the year. We did not make 50 million and we did not fire ourselves. It actually took us 3 years to get to 50 million. So I think if I'm correct, in 2014, we made $48 million and we were just oh my God, that sucks. Be so close and then not be there. In 2015, we went from 48 million to 74 million, I believe. And then in 2016, last year, we ended at 120 and then we're pacing to hit 200 this year.
That's just incredible growth. I don't know, for frame of reference, I don't know if a lot of entrepreneurs understand that. I mean, when you've got a kitchen table business doing, say, $500,000 a year and you double it to $1 million, that's significant. And that's not an easy thing to do, to double a business. Even if you're at $1 million a year and you double it to $2 million, not an easy thing to do, but doable. But to take a business with that kind of growth from 50 million to 72 million, then the next 120 million. When you're talking a business that size, that kind of rapid growth is extremely rare.
Yeah, it was really crazy. It just felt like a whirlwind. Every year, it was just we got a little bit more busy and a little bit more busy. And then I swear for the last 2 years, it's you just don't even look up. You are just go, 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 go all the time. And it's really one of the biggest things has been the staffing. I mean, that is a huge overhead you have to carry to sustain a $200 to $200 million company. And then we were always very flat organization. We don't really believe in micromanaging. And we live by the idea of laissez-faire. We truly believe that everybody just let it be. You guys are adults, you can manage your workload. You can, try new things, grow within the organization. But when you get to that big of an organization, you kind of have to start putting a little bit of middle management, a little bit of organization into place. And that's been a big thing because we really want to protect the culture that we have. And that's kind of been our biggest challenge right now.
Well, Joe Schriefer, when I talked to him, I asked him, what do you think are some of the factors for this super rapid growth? And he said, one of the most important things we're doing right now is just attracting top talent. So you're the top talent, Kaylee. You're one of the top talents, Katie.
I like to think so.
So tell me, like marketing director, what are the things you do? What do you oversee? What do you do? And what's in that department?
Yeah, well, like I said, we are actually in 3 main verticals: finance, health, and survival. And so the marketing team that I oversee has been marketing for all the products within those 3 verticals, which is pretty overwhelming and very, very fun because we don't get, siloed off. So back when I took over as the marketing director was really kind of at the beginning of like display, native display blowing up. And so at that point in time, I was like nitty gritty, like in the campaigns, like constantly on the phone with like the Yahoo policy teams, really hands-on with like getting us up and running. And then, that's just not sustainable for a director level role, especially the size of our company. So really in the last year, I've been building the team and putting really key player and like you said, like a high level of talent in place to kind of handle that day to day. And so now what I'm doing is just trying to knock down the boulders that are in the way for the team. So, we have kind of an outdated e-commerce platform. I'm hiring a company to build a new e-commerce platform. We really needed some help with optimization of our funnels and just didn't have the resources in-house. So I'm finding more resources. All of those types of things are really what is my job. I always, when I kind of mentor people who want to be directors or want to manage people or teams, I always tell them, the one thing you have to be able to do is let go of the day to day. And you have to be picking your head up and looking, ahead. Like you've got to be thinking 2 weeks, 2 months to 6 months down the road. Let the media buyers and the like real talent handle the day to day. You kind of just be the guide.
That makes a lot of sense. So disclaimer, I did say I'm a selfish bastard. So there'll be some more self-serving stuff here. So let's say, for example, some freelance copywriter writes some new financial copy, and Joe Schriefer thinks it's going to be a big success, and it's tested and in-house, and it looks like it's going to be a big success. Then how do you start throwing traffic at that? If it's a front-end offer, let me define front-end offer. It's an offer designed to get new customers. Like do you have a system that you do, or does it just depend on the offer and the product and the copy?
No, we have a pretty well-oiled machine when it comes to our external marketing strategy and especially testing. So we have 2 main external teams. We have a team that's dedicated to display and native advertising, and then we have a team that's dedicated to email and affiliate marketing. Those are our 3 largest channels. And really, if we had a promo that converted well in-house and hit our benchmarks, which is between 2.5% to 3% conversion rate to our own files, then we would right away start launching test campaigns. Well, first getting policy approval on those for native and display, the 3 major networks, Yahoo, Google, and Facebook. We would get those campaigns up and running, and then we would start to rent traffic from our, tried and true lists on the email side. And then the affiliate side, we don't go to affiliates until we have tested the offer to some other outside traffic first. So that way we can get kind of a baseline conversion rate and then calculate what the EPC is, which, by the way, we do not use EPC at all to make any business decisions. It's like my and Joe Schriefer's like, we hate that, but we get it. We know why affiliates like it.
Tell her what EPC means, and then I want to know why you don't use it.
Yeah, it's earnings per click. So it's basically the amount you would make for every person that clicks on, the link that you are sending to your file. We don't use that because that's a super subjective metric. It doesn't really tell me I can't make a business decision based on that. I can't make like an optimization decision off of that. So, a click-through rate, I know what a good click-through rate is, and that tells me the performance of that lift note, and I can judge that lift note or that banner copy by that click-through rate. A conversion rate tells me the performance of that advertisement. I can use that to optimize the advertisement. Average cart value tells me performance of the funnel. I can optimize off of that. But EPC, like what can I optimize off of that? Because it's basically like a merge of click-through rate and conversion rate and average cart value. So
I never understood that either. I mean, everybody gives out that number.
Yeah.
When they're reporting their data, but I don't get it.
Yeah. The reason they do is because affiliates want to know how much they can estimate making off of that promotion. So if you tell an affiliate they're going to make like $1 EPC or $2 EPC, and then you give them creative, they can usually, that gives them like a guesstimation of how much their file they're going to be able to make off of sending that, which I get. I mean, it's the same thing that the networks care about. Network algorithms like Yahoo, what they're calculating is earnings per click for them as well. Or no, sorry, earnings per thousand. So the algorithm is designed to maximize the profit for that network by getting the most revenue per 1,000 viewers. So that's why if you have a really high click-through rate, your ads in a native platform, your ads you'll win more of the bids than if you have like a lower click-through rate. So you can have like a lower bid, but a higher click-through rate. And the algorithm's gonna be like, yeah, you know what? We're still going to make a lot of money because that click-through rate's killer, even though that person doesn't want to pay that much per click. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. I got more questions about the networks. But first, another selfish question. Mm-hmm. What about, let's say, some guy with a really funny name that has a dog in it writes his first ever, something he said he would never do, but he writes a financial promo. And it's a back end. I feel like
you wrote a financial promo recently. Have we tested it?
No, it just left Joe and it needs to go to legal. But seriously, I said I would. Well, thank you. I'll take all the luck I can get, because I said I would never write financial. You know, I've written health copy for you before. In fact, I helped launch that health business in the beginning.
You did. I remember that.
Financial at your level, like to write for Agora Financial, it is truly the Olympics of copywriting. And those guys are half my age, and I just didn't want to go into that space. I didn't want to compete against that, but I got bitten by the bug. Both Joe and I are excited about the piece. Like I said, it still needs to go to legal, but let's just help me out and let's visualize that my copy is a big success. You test it. How do you start? How do you define a success? Let's say they say, Katie, Dan's promo is ready. What happens next?
Well, we test it internally. It needs to hit the 2 to 3% conversion rate, like I said, to internal traffic. Then we send it
Backend, by the way. I'm sorry, it's Backend.
Oh, it's a Backend one?
Yeah, $2,000 product.
Okay,
so Backend,
it's a $2,000 product.
To define Backend, that's a sale to an existing customer.
Yeah, so I wouldn't expect more than, like, our range for Backend conversion rate is like 0.5 would be pretty low. 1% is the goal for a Backend promotion. That's what we consider like a really killer backend, but also kind of depends on timeliness. Like, you know, are you going to build a campaign around the launch? Is it going to you're going to launch a special price for certain subscribers? Like, there's a lot of things you can do with backends that are campaign based that most copywriters don't think about or don't involve the marketing team early enough to brainstorm those ideas.
Well, it sounds like I need to be brainstorming those ideas.
I think you might.
Because I honestly didn't know that was an option. I just thought, okay, I hand over my copy and then these guys will do what they do with it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we do most of the time. But, you know, I mean, there's not, the cool part is like, this is our business. It's privately owned. Like, there's no rules. Like, we can do it our way. And as long as you're not going to like break the business, which writing a back-end promotion that could make us millions is not breaking anything. So...
Well, that's the goal, is to make you millions. And the hope is, and the intention was in writing it, it's not tied to any certain impending event. It's not dependent upon something that's hot in the media. It's for income on demand.
Okay, so an options trading service.
Yes, Zach Scheit's options trading service. And so it's designed to be evergreen. And that's the goal. That hopefully it can be used on and on.
Well, that'll be good. Yeah.
All right, I know you're enjoying the interview with Katie, but we got to keep these shows on time. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring her back for part 2 next week. So thanks for tuning into the Off the Chain show, and we'll be back in your earbuds next time. Thanks for listening, and remember, if you want to create rivers of revenue from your existing customers, then the next thing you need to do is go to DobermanDan.com. He's giving away a free copy of his $98 per month Doberman Dan letter just for listening to the show. Go to DobermanDan.com now and sign up for your free issue.
This is the podcastfactory.com.